Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about another murder mystery. This case is about a young woman. So let's get into the story. Dorothy Jane Scott was 32-year-old single mother living in California. Her son's name was Sean and he was only 4 years old. Sean's father didn't live in the area, so Dorothy's parent would help her take care of him when she was at the work. Dorothy was one of the girls who prefers to stay at home. Months before she went missing, she started getting really strange phone calls. There was no caller ID or anything. It was an anonymous man who would call and proclaim his love for her. And then he would follow up by telling her he wanted to kill her, so she didn't take it seriously. Until one day, he called and told her to look outside her house because there was a gift for her. According to Dorothy's mother, who was there at the time, she went outside and there was a single dead rose on her window shield, meaning whoever this man was knew where she was lived. The cause got worse and worse, more graphic, and he would started to describe to her how he wanted to cut her into bites and how he would get her alone and murder her. May 28, 1980, it was normal work day for Dorothy. That's until she noticed that one of her colleagues named Conrad didn't look too well and he had strange mark on his arm. So Dorothy and another co-worker named Pam took Conrad to hospital. Dorothy made a quick stop to her house to check up on her son before they went to the hospital, and she changed her scarf from black to red. Turned out her colleague has been bitten by a black widow spider. Throughout this entire visit, Dorothy did not leave Conrad's side once. He got discharged around 11 p.m. so they were leaving and Dorothy offered to bring the car around so he didn't have to walk. Dorothy was a very caring and kind person. Conrad and Pam stood waiting for Dorothy to bring her car around, but she never came and it was taking quite a while. They decided to check out the separate parking lot. That's when her car came speeding towards them with the headlights on, so they didn't actually see who was in the car. They then start waving, trying to get her attention. Maybe she would not stop, but she didn't. She just drove off. They thought it was little strange, but they assumed that maybe there was a sudden emergency with her son. That's until a few hours later when they realized that no one had actually heard about Dorothy, so the police were called at that point. 4:30 a.m. the next morning, her car was found burning in an alley. It was about 16 kilometers away from the hospital. About a week into Dorothy's disappearance, her parents started getting phone calls from the same man who was calling her before. He would call almost every Wednesday night and say something along with lines of, "I have got her, she's with me, I have taken her." The call never was long enough to actually trace where they were coming from, and it's really early 80s, so this technology is not advanced as our time. So on the 12th, 1980, on June, the same men called the Orange County Register. They were publishing papers about this case, and according to them, he said, "I killed her. I killed Dorothy Scott. She was my love. I caught her cheating with another man." According to people in Dorothy's life, she wasn't seeing anyone at the time. According to the people who took the call, the guy in the phone knew about the spider bite at the hospital, and he also knew that Dorothy had swapped her scarf black to red, which were two details that police had not released to the public. After that phone call, there were no other development in this case, so this case went cold. That Sunday, 4 years later, in 1984, a construction worker came across the remains of dog and he dug further underneath that remains. There were human remains. The dog remains were said to be there to deter sniffer dog from finding the human remains underneath it. The body was Dorothy's. They identify using dental records. They were never able to determine what the actual cause of the death was. Strange detail is that a watch was found on the time, and the time stopped exactly an hour after she was last seen by her co-workers at the hospital. That time was the time she was dead. After the remains were found, the call started up again, claiming to be the person who was responsible for this. This man who was calling untraceable. It's been 39 to 14 years since her body was found, and still to this day, no one really knows who the murder is. This case remains unsolved and still a mystery. So, this is the end of the terrifying story of Dorothy Scott. If you like to know about more murder mysteries like this, please subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.